Well, hello, friends. Welcome. We are back again on this Tuesday for Tip Tuesday. Today, we are going to be making a pizza cookie. I love making food cookies. Sounds really funny, but I love making cookies that are in different types of foods like hamburgers and cotton candy, ice cream cones, popsicles. Do you see a theme here of sweets? But also love this. This is one of my very, very, very favorite cutters. It is this cutter here that is from Sweet Sugar Belle. You can use it for so many different things. Watermelon slices, slices of pizza, candy corn, so many different things. It's unlimited. Highly suggest you pick it up. I believe it's in her Shapeshifters #1 kit. But we are going to decorate this pizza cookie today, and we are going to go step by step of how to do that. And then this would be a great little event if your little kiddos want to have a pizza party, or if they have other ideas that they want to do. So let's go ahead and get started. I've got my blank cookie here already cooked and baked and everything. And well, I just had a total mishap. Look at this. All my flood icing just exploded. So I'm just going to grab another decorating bag and put this icing, drop it down in a new bag. And so if that ever happens, I think what happened is I probably just cut too much off the end. I had a tip on there, but we're just going to use a tipless bag here, and we won't use a tip on it because I don't think I need it. But we had a tip on there. Let's go over the colors that we're going to use. We've got our red outline and our red flood icing. We've got our white icing and our white flood and our white flood, white outline. Then we've got, this is for our crust. We've got our tan. This is made with Ivory Americolor. We've got our tan outline icing and our tan flood icing. And then we've got some green outline icing for some of the peppers on our cookie, and then the black for the olives on the cookie. So normally you don't have to use a tip for this. It's just what black I had left over. Same goes for the white. So it's just some white that I had left over. I'm just going to cut my bag here. This is a tipless bag, so I'm just going to have the seam facing straight up, and I'm going to cut right across. You always want to cut less at first because you can always take off more, but you can't put it back on. So I'm just going to cut, and these are like needle nose scissors that work great for that. So I'm just going to turn my cookie around here a little bit, and I'm going to do the red portion first, and then I'll come back and do the tan. It doesn't matter really which one you do first. You could do the crust first, or you could do, this is going to act as our pizza sauce. So I just outlined my cookie there with my red outline icing. Now I'm going to grab my red flood icing, and I'm going to work from the outside in, just moving around, squeezing my bag. This is like a maple syrup consistency, so it's going to be pretty thin. And you don't want it too thick because you're going to add on your cheese and every other goodie to go along. I'm going to grab my scribe here. You can also get these scribes in my shop on summersweetshop.com. But I'm just going to move my icing around until I get all of everything covered. So there you go. I have that. So I'm just going to move this over to the side here and get one that's already been dry. And you want to let that dry for about a couple hours before you add on the white. If you do it too soon and put the white right on here, it's going to, the red is going to bleed into your white, and you don't want that to happen. So now I'm going to add my crust onto my pizza. And I'm just cutting my little bags here, getting them ready. And this one is pretty small area. So as you see how far I'm coming up off the cookie, I'm telling the icing where to go. And I'm just going to do a little squiggle here in the middle, just because I want to make sure that we don't have any craters or any air bubbles that will come. So you don't have to wait a certain amount of time before you add your icing here next to the red. You could do it immediately, or you can wait and do like a whole tray of pizzas that you have. If you want to do all of the ones that you have to do, if you're doing like 2 dozen, you could do it immediately, or you can come back and do it. You don't have to do it right away. Normally, I don't do it right away. I let that icing, that outline icing, stay. Now, if you wanted to add a little bit more dimension, you could airbrush this once it's dry. You want to make sure it's dry after a couple hours. You could airbrush this, and it just kind of gives it a little bit more dimension. We're not doing that today since we're not using the airbrush, but those are just some ideas for future reference. Okay, now it's time to add the cheese onto our pizza. So I'm just going to take my outline white icing, and this is the best part. Super easy, no technique. You're just going to follow along, just making that pizza, just like oozing out of your pizza slice. So I've got my outline. I'm outlining where I want the cheese to go, the cheese. And then I'm going to take my flood icing. Again, this is just like maple syrup. And I'm just going to fill in all of that outline I just did. So I've got it all the way around. I'm going to use my scribe again and just push my icing around where I want it to go. So just moving it around. I'm kind of trying to get, I want to get away from the outline, not get away, just cover it up, I should say. Cover up that outline because I don't want to see it. Because it'll just look smooth and look really, really good on my cookie. So you can see there how great that looks. So you're going to want this to dry again for not as long as you did with the red, but you want it to dry for about 30 minutes to an hour before you add on your other ingredients on top of your pizza. So we have here, let's go ahead and add, I didn't add my crust onto this one that I did partially last night. So let's go ahead and add that on. You can see how far up I come off of the cookie. That's so I have more control over your icing, which you would think would be not the case, but it is. Just going to fill it in with my flood icing and move it around with my scribe. Scribes are such an essential tool when using, whether you're using a toothpick or whether you're using a fancy expensive scribe, you need to use something. You will find it so, so handy. I'm not really even sure you can do it without it. Okay, now it's time to add in our ingredients for our pizza. So I want to add, I like pepperonis on my pizzas. So I'm just going to take my outline red icing. This is like toothpaste consistency. And I'm going to add some pepperonis on to my yummy pizza. So the reason you're using outline, you might say, well, Summer, can I just use my flood icing? Well, you could, but sometimes when you're flood icing, there's some kind of chemical, scientific piece of this, I don't understand. But a lot of times when you do your flood icing that way, it will have air bubbles underneath and will cause it, you'll have like an air bubble like here on the side. And it's something you'll see it like where these three like connect. It's really weird, odd thing. But just use your outline icing and just use your scribe to smooth that out some. Okay, now let's add in some peppers. And we are just going to add, I'm trying to remember how I did these before. If I did. And I've just got my outline icing. Again, you want to make sure you use an outline for this. And just generously put them around. And then one of my favorites, this tip might be too big, but we'll see, is to do your black olives. So I kind of do like almost a full circle because I think that makes it more realistic. So there you have it. I'm just using my scribe to finish that off. And there you have it. You've got your pizza cookie all ready to go, ready to eat. And it's totally yummy. So hopefully that was helpful for you and showing you how to make a fun pizza. So look, I'll just have all my slices here. So fun stuff. Thank you guys so much. I hope this was helpful and fun and super easy to do. And thanks for the Tip Tuesday. And we will see you next Tuesday. We're going to talk about coloring your icing and filling your icing tipless bags. So stay tuned for that. But same time, same place. I will see you guys next week. Have a great day.